Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Jo Labbé, here broadcasting through Star Nations. We're coming to you live from Be Live TV and YouTube. So welcome everybody. This is a little bit of a different thing for me. I have been on hiatus since the summer and just getting back in the new year. New me, new show. So thanks for joining us. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit about energetic self-care. I know a lot of people understand different ways to take care of themselves. You know, it's a topic that's talked about frequently. But what I noticed in the past year, there are a lot of tools we've had that all of a sudden we couldn't do because of the pandemic. You know, we maybe weren't able to go get a massage or to go and get our hair cut or a mani-pedi for those of you guys who like that. Those may be your go-to things, and all of a sudden those tools were taken off the table. And how does that impact our energy and our chakra system when we have difficulty doing self-care? And what different things can we do to take care of our energetic body so that we're in good shape mentally, emotionally, and physically, not to mention spiritually, because this has been a difficult time, I'm sure, for a number of people. So I just want to say welcome. Rob, if anybody's in the house, you can pop them up so I can see them. I have you guys off. So, oh, hi, Carol. Carol's my godmother, so I love seeing her. Hi, Rochelle. Nice to have you. I'm not doing cards tonight. I'm not quite in that space yet, but we'll be doing a healing at the end so everybody can get that. All right. And let's see. Julie, thanks for being here. Good pal, helping me out on my first show. It's nice when we can stand there for each other when we're coming back. Hi, Lisa. Nice. Thank you. Nice to have you. When I know there are a number of people who ask for cards, and I normally pull cards for Soul Connections, which is my other show, which is not coming back quite yet, because that one's a little energetically draining. So thanks, Rob, for sharing. I'm not doing readings tonight, but I will do a meditation and a healing at the very end so everybody can get some love and attention. Hi, Jackie. Nice to have you in the house. Good to see your smiling face. Oh, hi, Amy. And Julie's like, yay, healing. Yeah, we all could use a little bit of that right now. So one of the things that, has come up about self-care over this past year that I've noticed is that, we haven't been able to do the normal things that we like to do. And so many people did without. I was extremely busy all through, I've been busy since March or April because one of the things an energy healer can do is help send energy by long distance. We connect to your field and we help you out. And so people were needing that or wanting some guidance. Especially with things like anxiety and overwhelm and just stress in general. Everything was different for many, many people. Having to work from home, having to be a teacher, a parent, a spouse, and no time to yourself. It's been pretty interesting. And so all of these stresses impact our chakra system. And what happens in these times, maybe you've noticed, is that when we're under a lot of energy stress or emotional stress, or we're in, my team is talking in a different way, we're being influenced by many outside stressors, like a lot of change. all of those things can wobble our chakras, because our chakras are meant to be round and spinning in nice, full, bright colors. And they rarely are because we're human and we're having experiences, and all of those experiences influence our energy. So when we're having these things, what happens is our survival body starts to worry about being okay. And we saw some of that with things like hoarding toilet paper. And people got scared. And when we go into those survival fears, our energy system starts to react. And many of us know that our adrenals will go into overdrive. But what does that do to our chakras when the adrenals are running too hot? And you can imagine that our third chakra in particular carries a lot of fire. So if it needs to be running and running and running and running for those adrenals, how's that fire doing? Is it going out? And that happens when it feels like our fire's going out. How many people were dealing with fatigue and had no desire to do basic things, like it was hard to get out of bed or take a shower. Signs of maybe some depression. Maybe you were having waves of water because it was trying to put out all that fire. So you were having lots of anger or lots of sadness, and maybe a mixture of both in like a hot second. Those emotional roller coasters were really happening because a lot of people had all this fire energy. And fire's great when we use it and apply it to creating something magnificent in our life. But there are times when it's burning so hot that it impacts our feelings of self-esteem and self-worth. And one of the ways you can tell that your energy system is getting a little off balance is you might get a little resentful. Somebody asks you for something and it kind of frustrates you, or you get mad when normally it wouldn't bother you. You would just kind of do that thing. So you might have gotten a little resentful. You might have gotten a little judgmental about other people and what they were doing and how they were doing it, because internally we're trying to balance our own energy. So we're looking for the cause. And so sometimes we were in blame, and then other people were in shame. Oh, must be my fault, and taking that on, and that shuts the fire down in a particular way. And all of those things are signals that we need to stop, and we need to take care of ourselves and take care of our energetic body. And like I said, many of us had our go-tos. I was that person who, I would go and get a massage, and I would get an energy healing, and I would go get my hair done, or have a mani-pedi, or take a soak in a tub. And, or go, go out and have a nice cup of tea somewhere. And those were things that got taken away. And it was like, what do I do now? How do I take care of what I need? And 2020, in part of the self-care, one of the things that happened, and I can't even tell you how many clients called me with overwhelm. Everything was too much change, too much happening. And they thought they were going to explode in some way, whether it was a crying waterfall or an angry volcano, or maybe both, depending on the day. And enough people were good about trying to get out in nature and take a walk if they could. But, for especially for a lot of people who had health concerns, or, maybe they had children who were learning from home, or they had to work a lot from home, it was hard sometimes to actually get outside and, take a walk or just sit out in the fresh air and ground. And I was very thankful for Star Nations having, almost daily, have you grounded? Have you grounded yourself? Because grounding is a great way to help. But there are things that we can do that will take care of ourselves. And that was one of the things that happened for me. I had a lot of client work and a lot of people who needed my help and my attention at a time when I moved. I moved in March from Massachusetts to Maine. And we expected to do it a certain way, and the pandemic hit. And so certain things got sped up and other things got slowed down. And I was moving my business and my husband's business. And he was supposed to start a new job that didn't start because of the pandemic. And it was chaos. And with Star Nations, I was doing 2 shows a week, an hour a piece, doing all these readings and helping other people. And I started to get to this point where I was a little bit resentful that everybody was getting my time and I needed space to breathe. And I'm so thankful to Neshi and Star Nations for them saying, hey, you need to take a break and you need to take care of yourself. So one of the self-care things is learning to say no. I have a whiteboard that has all my to-do stuff on it. And it's, I think it's 2 feet by 4 feet. And it has 5 columns. And in each column are written things that I need to do. And that was helpful, but then it got to be overwhelming. And so when I was feeling that overwhelm and that frustration and having those empathic, feeling too many other people's feelings, it was like, what can I let go of for a little while to take care of me? And we've seen Neshi doing the same thing. She needed to let go of some things as she was taking care of her mom. And now she's taking care of herself after she took care of her mom, by coming back to Star Nations gently. And it's our way of showing you how to take care of you. Like maybe there's some things that you've committed a bunch of time to that are draining or you're not in your joy with. And those things you can say, not right now. And no doesn't have to mean forever. It can be for a little while. And that's what it was for me. I just knew I needed a little space. And we ended up moving again. We opened our business in July and started all of that off, and then bought a house, sold a house, bought a house, and moved again all before Thanksgiving. So I needed a little time to anchor myself. And you can see I'm in my new workspace with all of my inner child stuff visible to you and all my work stuff visible to me. But now I'm situated. Now I'm back in a place to realign with what is best for me and my energy system, and, inviting you to be able to do the same. And with things that have been going on around us, one of the things that is crucial in terms of self-care is protecting our immune system. And when our energy system isn't running at full speed, our auric layers start to get a little wobbly. They might get a little spongy. It might have some tears in it from stress. And that's when, other things can come inside. And that's when we're susceptible to getting things like COVID, and other things. That's the big one that everyone's talking about, but there's still people who are getting pneumonia and getting bronchitis and strep throat, and the flu, the regular stuff that was a pain, as well. And when we're really depleted, our body and our energetic body just can't battle things as they're coming in, and we need lots of support, and we need to really build back our immunity. So one of the things that we'll do at the end of our healing is we're going to build up our immune energy and really reinforce our aura so that it's much stronger. And for those of you who are empathic, having a stronger aura means you absorb less of other people's energy. Because maybe there's some of you out there who've been experiencing the sensation of feeling other people's feelings. That can be a big thing. And when we're feeling other people's feelings, that can be very uncomfortable. And it means that we need to put up a boundary energetically, so that we're just in our own energy and our own feelings. It's okay to have on our radar what's going on around us, but we don't need to become that. And that can take some practice, but it won't happen if your energy is depleted. And I know a lot of people are depleted. And I've been really reaching out to my crystal allies, asking them for help and for my essential oils. For those of you who know or don't know, I have essential oil blends that I've channeled, and I can't even imagine how many bottles of anti-bully blend I went through in this past year. That was like one of my favorites. The one for the immune system, that one is another one that I used pretty religiously. The grounding blend, because there was a lot going on. It was hard to stay grounded. And even things like psychic protection, because, like I said, there are a lot of people who were having a hard time. And when we're inside of that, container, here on the planet altogether, we can sense a number of people having a hard time. And it can make that little us inside feel nervous or scared that other people are nervous or scared. And then we need to take care of that part of us. And that's actually one of the reasons why you're seeing all my my collection of Winnie the Pooh, who's like my totem animal, for people who know me. And on my, I guess it's this way, over my shoulder, you can see probably behind me a little bit, there's a shelf there. And that's all. That particular shelf is just for my inner child. I have an altar just for her, so that she knows that I'm thinking about, taking care of her, and that she doesn't have to be scared, and she can sense that it's a safe place to be. That's my chair that I can sit with and read in. And it's got, some things around that have brought me joy and love, and those are very important. That is part of self-care too. One of the things that I invited many of my clients to do during this time for self-care is get rid of the things that you don't like, the things you kept just because, or because somebody gave it to you and you're worried that their feelings would be hurt if you didn't keep it. And you know what? If you don't like it, don't keep it. Pass it forward to somebody who would. There are plenty of places that still are back taking things that are donated. A number of the Facebook groups are out there for your town or your community where you can swap. You can get rid of what you don't need anymore and maybe get something nice in return. I like to use those sites just to be able to be the fairy godmother who can give away something somebody else needs that I don't really want anymore. And I don't ask for anything in return because I don't need anything right now. So it was nice to do things like donate Christmas lights at the holiday season that somebody wanted for their tree, and some decorations and things like that. And I had plenty, more than enough to share. And that's helping, being in a space where I can help someone else. And if you're in a place where you're saturated, and you can't think about others and what others might need or what might be good to help others, then it's time for some self-care, because we're all in this together. We're all on this planet together. And, for all of us to get through this together, we need to think about ourselves, and we need to think about how what we do impacts other people. So whether it's, making sure to, um, take care of what we need, we might, we all need toilet paper, but do we need, 48 rolls for 2 people? Or can we get by on 6, things like that, where it's like, what do I really need and what's necessary, and how can I help someone else? Um, Rob says some of us do. Yeah. Some of us do need 48 rolls. I get that. And I'm trying not to be judgy about that. But I know that, that was one of the things that, I don't know how many of you did this, but there were a couple times during the beginning of the pandemic where my adult children couldn't get a hold of things, and we had them in our area. They didn't run out, so sending a care package of toilet paper and disinfecting wipes and um, hand sanitizer, um, masks, things that, now there's such a normal thing now. But, a year ago, how many of us had all of that in our house? We probably had some of it, but not to the degree we do now. And that was a change, right? Like, it's a change to have that, have your hand sanitizer in the car, and you got to have a mask or two wherever you go, because you don't know. But that is, one of the things that happened is that a lot of things change rapidly. And some of us, our job changed, or the way we do our job changed. For me, I was seeing many of my clients in person. I did see people online from time to time, but to all of a sudden have my practice go completely online, and it was a shift, and it required new boundaries. I don't know how many of you needed new boundaries. That's part of self-care too, like creating a sacred space for your work, that is just work, and then being able to close the door on that, and then be in your home. And some of us don't have that luxury because our kitchen table became our office, or our laundry room, or our bedroom. And so it was that bleeding, leaking energy where, work and home and play all got put in the same location for many of us. And so part of this is about setting good boundaries, and part of the boundaries is saying no. Like, my work ends here. I'm taking my half an hour lunch and I'm not doing work in that half an hour. I turn off my computer and I go and I eat. And then when I want my 15-minute break, I turn off my computer and I take my 15 minutes. I know a lot of people who are maybe not embracing that part of their self-care. So share with me, I'll let Rob send me over, people's thoughts on self-care. What have you been doing, or what do you feel like you might need help with? And so he says, astrologer Michael Lennox said of 2020, yes, that one needed a daily spiritual practice. He took that to heart, and it's the only reason I survived this far. Yes, the spiritual practice has been big. And I don't know about some of you, but even my spiritual practice had to change because, my husband had a particular work schedule. And so he would go off to work. And once he went to work, then I would do my meditation and my channeled writing. And I would, pull my cards for myself, and I might do kirtan and all of that. And all of a sudden he wasn't leaving. So it was hard for me to figure out when to do that, because the kid in me wanted to play with his kid, like, oh, you're home, let's play, like it was a snow day. But a few months into the snow days, you got stuff to do. So it happened in different ways and in spurts. And I needed to get to a place where my spiritual practice could happen all day long. And the more it happened all day long, the better it was. And not that I didn't connect all the time, but when you're in the middle of packing boxes and moving things and throwing things out, and you're out of your normal rhythm, like a lot of us were, then it's hard to remember sometimes things like, oh, did I put my oils on? Or, oh, did I do my, a meditation? And when we stepped into 2021, I started to institute a new spiritual practice, or a new version, maybe a new version, an upgraded version, so that I start my day connecting to my spirit. And I'm really in tune with the rhythm of the moon and the astrology and things like that. But I'm also, at the end of the day, I'm releasing, cutting cords, and quieting my mind with contemplative reading, which then allows me to have lucid dreams. So I can wake up in the morning and want to write down all the information that came out. So I found my spiritual practice changed. Did anybody else share anything, Rob? Karen, so grateful for this. I've been overwhelmed and working on my emotions to stay connected to my children and granddaughter's well-being. I have some friends praying for my family. Yes. Those prayer groups, if you aren't part of one, sometimes those can be very helpful. The one thing that I noticed too, as part of this year, is, many of us who have been the prayer warriors, we send healing, we send prayers. We've been really good at giving. But there are times when we need to reach out and ask to receive. If our family is having a hard time and we're the one who needs to be the rock for the family, we need the love and support too. So don't be afraid to ask for healing for yourself as well as for your family. Because the caretakers, it's a hard job and it can be very depleting. And that's why, I always am including recently, I've been including like the nurses and the doctors and the people who've been taking care of us, um, even though we don't know it. If we haven't experienced that ourselves, um, they're really putting themselves out there, and they've been taking care of so many that they need to take care of themselves too. So this helps us do that for them. So thank you for sharing that, Karen. Um, it's great to have a collection of friends to help us out, soul sisters and whatnot, to help us pray together, um, and even just send out, good thoughts and healing vibrations just through Facebook. I actually um, try to, on my screen, I sage every time well, not every time, but when I'm on my computer, I sage Facebook. It's my part of my spiritual practice these days. I don't always remember on my phone, but on my computer, I remember to light it up and sage. So thanks for sharing, Karen. Ah, yep. Clothes hanger to the laundry mat. Yeah. Um, my youngest son he's a very good manifester. And he and his partner, they were using the laundromat because they have an apartment, and he knew early that that wasn't going to work. And he got a one of those washing machines that goes in your sink and drains into your bathtub. He had gotten that actually before the pandemic. I think he had a sense of that. But he got this really cool it's a clothes hanger, like to hang your clothes to dry, but it has this bag that zips over it, and it sends like hot air through it, and it dries the clothes. I guess the Japanese like had already thought of that. But so now he has a way to wash and dry his clothes, and in small loads, so they have to be mindful of that. But it kept them from going to the laundromat, where it's not always a safe space. So I totally get that. Very cool. That's another thing that's taking care of yourself. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to do a healing meditation. And what we're going to do is we're going to balance our chakras. It's one of the best things we can do to take care of ourselves. And then, like I said earlier, then we'll reinforce and strengthen our aura and its layers, so that we can put your immune system maybe on a little higher notch. And remember that these sessions are recorded, so if you need to do some self-care, you can go back to this one and scroll ahead to the meditation, and you can do the meditation anytime you need it. Because balancing our energy and boosting our immune system, it's something we could do every day, but definitely whenever we feel the need. So I invite you to put your feet flat on the floor if you can. You want your arms and your legs uncrossed. And we're going to take a couple of deep breaths. All right. So take a breath in and blow out. I'm hearing Rob. I don't know if he's hearing me. But
can you hear me?
Oh yes, big time.
I'm muted. Hold on.
Okay. There you go. All right. So let's take a deep breath and blow out. And like I said, we want our arms and our legs uncrossed so that we can really get grounded. And breathe in and out. And you just want to call in the divine energy. Call in your spiritual team, your angels, your guides, your ancestors. All divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you in this moment. And as always, we set a sacred space for the healing work and this show. And we ask that all healing be for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we're just going to ask our spiritual team to put a bubble of protection around us so that each of us feels safe, secure, and supported for this healing. And we're going to begin at our crown, at the top of our head. And we're just going to balance our crown chakra, making sure that we are fully connected to the divine. And asking the divine energy to be fully rooted and grounded in our heart. And then asking our heart to ground the rest of our energy body down through all of our chakras. Strengthening our root chakra as it connects deep within the earth. And inviting this cord of connection to open and expand gently so we can feel more deeply rooted and connected. Calm, serene, and peaceful. And now let's check in with that root chakra near our tailbone. We're going to check and see if it feels balanced, if it feels round and full. You may sense the color red. Full and bright. Or you might just feel the balance of that, the energy. And just gently dissolving any energy that has been impacting our safety or our security. Any energy that is pulling into worry or anxiety. And in this moment, just gently allowing it to dissolve. restoring our root to balance. And now moving up to the second chakra below our navel. Sensing the connection. Noticing the color. Whether it feels round or wobbly. Inviting it to balance. Maybe fill with additional energy if it's had difficulty. Bringing our emotional energy back into balance. Releasing the overwhelm or the roller coaster that we may have experienced recently. Really honoring all the coping mechanisms that have gotten us here. And restoring balance so that we don't need to use them. We can simply be safe in our experience, in the moment. And then moving up to our third chakra. Lovingly bringing our fire energy. Also back into balance. Releasing the overabundance of frustration, anger, or judgment we may have experienced within us or around us. Bringing back into balance our self-esteem and our self-worth. Restoring each of our organs in our belly back into balance so that they're released from overworking. Calming the stress. Calming the adrenals. bringing them back into balance. And now moving up to the heart, sensing and noticing the green or the pink, the fullness and the roundness of the heart. Quieting any blame or shame we may be holding here. Honoring the sadness or grief that may be flowing through our experience. Surrounding and protecting our physical heart. So that the tissues and muscles are supported in unconditional love. For all it does to hold and support this whole physical being, the vessel that we are in. Sending healing through the lungs, allowing space for the breath of life to fill them more fully. Releasing the stuck energy in the middle of our back, behind our heart, where we may have been holding tension or discomfort. And opening up the bronchioles so that our anxiety can again move through us without collapsing into panic. Releasing all of the stress and the weight we have been carrying in our shoulders and our neck, the burdens of our family, our friends, our community, our country, our planet. Giving us a moment to be free of that. Connecting to our throat and seeing if that is in balance and in fullness. If there's any energy there that needs releasing. Making room for authentic expression of ourself. reminding us ways to say yes and to say no when needed, in alignment with our needs and our wants. While respecting and honoring our connection to all that is. Sensing the beautiful blue colors as they swirl through, restoring balance, releasing tension in your neck or the base of your skull. Connecting to your third eye in the forehead. And imagining balance in all of your senses, including your intuition. Inviting in clear thinking and clear perception. And remembering the balance between the brain's thoughts and our intuitive guidance system. Opening up our connection to our spiritual teams so we can sense, connect, and see them more easily. And connecting to the crown above us, releasing any doubt or disbelief that we've been having. And once more, connecting to the fullness of the heart and asking the heart to radiate out through our aura, cleansing, restoring, and repairing. In front of us, behind us, on either side, above and below. In the physical layer, the emotional layer, the mental thought layer, especially behind the head. In our spiritual layer, into our past lives and our karmic debt, cleansing, restoring, repairing. Out through the layers of consciousness and fully connecting to all that is, however you may perceive that. And now gently bringing our focus back to our physical heart and our physical body, grounding any energy that we do not need down into the earth to cleanse, restore, and support others in their healing and what they may need. Through all of her layers as well. And feeling down into the root chakra and how connected and wide open it is, releasing any energy that is not yours or that no longer serves you. And now reconnecting to your physical body, feeling your muscles and your bones, connection to the chair you may be sitting in. Feel the clothes on your body. Notice the light around you, the sounds in your environment. And when you are ready, you can begin to stretch, release, let go. Woo! That was a fun ride. So there you have it. A way to bring yourself back into balance if you need to. And if you listen to the clearing meditation a couple times, you'll start to remember how to do it yourself. That's because we're wired that way. We're meant to do that. We're meant to connect to our energy. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I'm getting ready to say goodbye. I'm going to let Rob bring anything else up that maybe he thinks. So Carol says, thank you so much. I'm going to go wallow in a hot soapy tub. So nice to spend time with you. Yes, I'm signing up and doing this in an hour. Blessings for providing this. You're very welcome. And thank you. Nice. Nice to see you, Rachel. Thank you. Nice, Jackie. You're very welcome, you guys. So, Carol had a great idea. You've done a big balance and a big clear. So don't be afraid to go take a tubby or take a shower. Be gentle with yourself for a little bit because now you're in a cleaner container. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And we'll be talking about how to help connect to your inner child and learn how to take care of her. Mwah. See you next time. Bye, guys.